Okay. So once you open up Excel, this is what you are going to see for your start page. On this page, you see some templates you can use. To me, the most important thing on this page is this recent files. So if it's a new, maybe you just called Excel, you're not going to see this recent file. You are only going to see this column here. That template you can use, you can work with. Now, these recent files, you see every document you'll be working with so far. You can select from here and pick up one of them. Now, another thing that is also very important here, apart from talk about this later, is the option to create a new file. That's one, and the option to open an existing file. If you can't find it on your recent file, you can literally go to open and search for that file on your PC, or if you are using OneDrive, like me, you can search on it on your OneDrive. Just click on it and have access to your entire laptop and search for whatever documents you want. So for this class, we will open a new blank document. Okay. So click on the blank workbook. So every Excel file is for the workbook. Every Excel file is for the workbook, and it has an effect. So each an Excel document is called a workbook. Usually it's called workbook, so it's made up of sheets, made up of different pages. So this, okay, let me start from the top so I don't go down to the bottom part. Talk about that. So I'm going to go back to that. We'll talk about the sheets. But let's start from the top. Now the first column, the first row, let's call this row. The first row here, this table and all of it, it's called your title bar, right? So this is called your title bar. Your title bar have your quick actions. These are shortcuts that you use most of the time. Just keep them here. That's the title of the workbook you're working on. That's your search. That's your control. What is minimize, maximize, and your close. You know what those do, I mean, minimize, maximize, and close. So this is your search. If you want to search something out. Now, the most important thing here is this, because I can modify what is here. So if there are any like call it any buttons, right? I use most of the time. I can just place it here. Let's say I used to store my data a lot of the time. Just tick that, add it to quick action. You can remove some other, if you don't want something, you can just click on this. If it's, you understand? So it makes any repetitive action easy for you to work with. Now, the next part and the most important component, Excel, most software have this is your ribbon. Some people used to call it your toolbar, but in Excel it's called ribbon. Another software you might call it toolbar, right? But in Excel it's called ribbon. So if I think toolbar or ribbon, basically. Now your ribbon is made up of different tabs, different tabs. And each of these tabs have specialization. So I'm just going to go over, not deep, really the best way to learn this. You are using adding something with a particular function that works more. So let me just give you like a general overview of what each tab will do. Now the home, when you're on the home is all about how you are going to format your data. What do I mean by formatting? How do I say platform? Let the word formatting. What do you think? Yeah, you just changing the appearance of your page, right? That's what formatting is all about. You have ways to change your font size, color, order. You can you can change the way the text is displayed. You can change the table if there's a table, the way it looks, right? You can delete information, you can add information. So everything about formatting is there. When you think if I want my logo, you can note down on that. It's not. And in start, like the name talks about, that's we bring in information outside of Excel. Things like images, icons, charts, things that are not uh, they don't come with Excel naturally, right? Excel is for rows and columns, right? Calculations. But now you want to bring some extra things like charts, like a picture into Excel. That under insert. And insert has different things you can bring to it. You can bring in tables, right? You can bring in illustrations that we have icon image. You can bring in chart. You can bring this pack lines. Pack lines are charts inside of the cell. Chart are inside the cell. That called pack line. You have your line, comma. That sliders. You know what the slider is? So it's some well, have you seen? Now let's go think want to fetch popular like there's a box and complaint of the I mean that kind of box. That box now one is the one advanced like start your one way to fix like it's some for the junior kids, right? Junior you can literally check what the kind I want to just between 200K and 150 and not filter this that you get to see and fill this that are 102. They are being going to filter which one you don't just drag and drop that and just under sliders. Sliders and timeline. Timeline is very complicated between January and March. So anything about filters, you start to see that. Then links from the videos. Don't add an extra text. All those formulas that cannot put in Excel normally. Let's talk about formulas like uh, solution that is not in Excel. Okay, yeah. Symbols like alpha, gamma, those Greek symbols that you see in formulas most of the time, get them from here. Those things are not English, so you can't put them there. You get them from here. Now the draw, particularly, you are not going to. I don't think you're ever going to use this. The only use case I have for this is when I'm explaining something. Maybe I'm explaining something. I just bring a pen, drag, highlight something, click on this, highlight something. Button. Once I'm done, I'll just do those things. So it allows you to draw on it. Okay. But in actual work, you might not use it. Now your page layouts. It allows you to change the way your page looks, not the page itself. So what do I mean by the page? For example, the color. You can set overall color for your entire work you are doing. That's what guys on that You can change can add margin when you want to print. Mostly mess around with this if you are printing your Excel sheet. Right? You want to structure the way it's going to look like when you print it. Add margins, and change your orientation from landscape to portraits, and change the size here. How do you want to print? You want to print it in letterhead, A4, A3, executive, so on and so forth. Then you can also do this print area. This allows you to select, let's say I have some documents here, I have some text here, be up to the ending. I don't want to print everything. I just want to print maybe from A to like F. I just use this print area, select what I want to print. First, I light it, then click on that print area. Light, then click on print area to select that text and print only that for us. So your page is more when you want to print something out. That's when. And most of the time, you won't be doing much print. I think the only thing you need to worry about here is this. We need to, when you're doing dashboard inside of Excel, you don't want to be changing color. Let's say you design multiple things, you don't want to change color for every single chart. You just want to set a theme color. Every chart you create will be adopting that color. So you don't have to create set color over and over and over. It saves you more time. So this is most likely be the only thing you use. And this page setup is for printing. Now, one other thing you can do here that is very, let me see if it's, oh yeah, something I'm looking for. Yeah, I think it's under view, not here. So this is for printing this as well. If you want to change the orientation of what you are printing. Now, I think the only thing I think do this in view, so isn't that's any points. Now, grid lines. These are your grid lines. These lines you are seeing here, they are grid lines. Now, if you want to toggle them on and off, I don't do this here. I do this in view normally. You can toggle this off and toggle it back on. Now, if you want to put your grid line when you're printing, just toggle this grid line. Print. You will not see this now. You don't want to print. You not see this grid line. Same with edits. These are your edits. This and this are your edits. Okay. Then if you're working with, if you do a lot of importation into a lot of insert from pages like 4 images, they are stacked up in front of each other. And maybe one of them is supposed to be at the top, and the other one will be at the bottom. Right? Now to move that layering, layout, to move the layer from top to bottom and so on. That's where this arrangement comes in. This arrangement gives you the ability to control the layering. If you want a particular image to be at the top, you say bring forward. You want to be at the bottom, bring backward. Now, if you want to see how they are ordered, how different elements are ordered, now click on this. We'll do something on this. When we are doing our project, definitely work on this. Okay. Then alignments, what things are being, then you align something, everything to the left or to the right or to the left. So under this, you mostly need to know these themes, these arrangements. That's the thing you use here. For my personal experience, these are what I've been using. I rarely have chance to use this. Now formulas, like name implies, these are when you can add formulas to your sheet. What formulas are? They are predefined calculation. So I'm not going to talk too much on the program. Excel, if you don't know formulas in Excel, you don't really know Excel. Then data allows you to bring in external data sources to your workbook. Right? Sometimes you don't want to type. Someone already done the typing. You want to just analyze it. You do that in data. It allows you to bring the data in, clean the data, filter it, and rearrange it. That's some extra options which we do. Mostly we use here is get some data, bring your data and transfer, clean it, then queries and connections. Maybe this sorting and filtering. Personally, don't use this here. I like to do everything sorting, filtering, cleaning inside my data transfer. These are the most likely things to use in here. And for this, okay, I think I'll do an example of where we use this. data tools. So move duplicates. I think there's once you move duplicates, you want to change the dimension of your table. What's the row? What's the column? What's the column? So, like transposing your data. So we have the what if analysis. What if analysis was kind of like a smart analyzer. So I just put in my data, use the what if analysis, I calculate the total profit, total sales like that, like not serious automation, small automation. Say added platform. So on this, the focus will be on the get and transform, your query, connection, and maybe this and this. Then review allows us to do things like spell checking. I've never used this before, so I just have, if you want to learn more about it, you have to personally try my use of Excel. I've never had the chance to use this. I think it's self-explanatory. You have auto spelling, synonyms, synonyms, workbooks, give you a general classification, total data in your workbook, and so on and so forth. Now, the view is where I like to play around with because it changes the way this entire work is everything. Now, first with your workbook view, you have the normal break page layout. Now, the ones I like to use most of the time, I like to stick with the normal. But there are some cases, if I need to print, I like to switch to page layout to show me how the document will look when I print it out. So with this now, you can now start styling and maybe adjusting the content so that everything fits in for when you are printing it out. So the only thing I tend to do here is this. For this, I've not really seen much of use for this because it's only what you are like to be shown. Page break. The most important one here is the normal and the page layout. Now, for the show, it's 80% of the time you'll be using normal. Your normal because you only use the page layout when you want to print. That's when you use that page layout. Now, the show, this is where the very interesting part. This part very, very interesting. But sometimes I don't need to see I don't need to see the lines. Only when I want to do dashboard. Right? Then that's why this guy becomes very, very important. I don't need to see the formula. That's where this guy becomes very important. It allows us to say and hide what we want to hide. So you can hide your lines, can hide your formula bar, you can hide your headings. Your page will now look so clean. When you see some dashboard online, say, how this put dashboard looking so clean like this. Then you can also hide this. I don't know if you can see this option here at the edge here. Also hide this. See your dashboard looking very clean, like it's not even Excel. I want to show you that this Excel. I'm so confused, but this is Excel. They just need a lot of things. In some cases, I've seen some cases. I don't know why mine is not doing it. You can this top part, it even goes when you zoom into this page, this top part now go. It will now look like just an empty page, just the dashboard. You see those kind of dashboard, you think that these guys are doing how they do this in the world. Very, very simple. Let me bring back those stuff. Then you have your zoom. I think zoom is self-explanatory. I mean, zoom in, zoom to select. I mean, when you are like something of that, you can zoom 100%. Maybe you did some zoom that you don't know. Go to zoom and click on zoom. Click on zoom to 100% and take you back to the default. Then you have your freeze panel, do window, arrange your this window opens a new workbook for you to work with. Now this freeze panel, I will do the freeze panel later. It's also something that you do time to time, especially when you're working with raw data. It allows you to, when you scroll up, let's say your heading is in row one, you now scroll up. Most of the time, you want to see your headings while you're scrolling up, right? With that space point that will allow you to fix your heading page, that edge. This is so that when you're scrolling up, it doesn't move, just stays. So it's very important, tell you when you're working with just raw data. Once you convert your data to table, it becomes less important. But the sweet is that you can freeze by row, and freeze it like this. This one stays fixed. This one will not be scrolling. I'll do it later, you see it. But you can freeze here. This, if I scroll this way, this one will stay fixed. And these guys are smooth. It's important. It allows you to see your data very well. That's are the main things. Then macros. Macros are I don't know if any of you have heard of macros? Eh? Most likely will not have heard of it. Well, macros was a big thing in itself. But I think in like 2012, macros was the programming language in Excel. Some guys used to do crazy things in macros. You can do someone creates a POS in Excel. It looks like a POS, but it's Excel. It looks like a POS, but it's Excel. The two transactions to show on the sheet. It's Excel they are working with. So macros was the programming language we use in Excel. Now, Microsoft is moving towards Python as their programming language, so you can build something in Excel using Python. Macros is still there. I think 10 years ago, Python. So the last is help. To help is generally you want to get more information about Excel, just go on here. Now we've covered every part of the ribbon. So this is your ribbon, okay? Let's be fast with the other part so that I don't too much. Let me fix this. Okay, good. So this next column, we have two things. This column, we have two things. Said one just now when I was hiding it. We have two things here. This row, we have two elements here. Talk about one just now. Which one is more? This is where you write it. Everything you write itself is presented here. So your name box. So the name box is only relevant when you know cell. So what is the cell? The cell is the box, right, where you type in your data. So this right here, each of these boxes are cells. Okay? Each of these boxes are cells. Now each cell has a name. Every single cell has a name, and the name is made up of the column. The column starts from A. That's an end though. Don't think it doesn't have an end. I'll show you the end later. The column starts from A, it goes A, B, C, F, goes like that. And your row starts from 1. Goes, I think it's up to 1. Now, each cell is made up of two things: column and row. This is the father, this is the mother. Right? Now, the reason why each cell has a name, because in some cases you need to refer to a cell to get the value inside of it. And to quickly know the name of the cell, maybe inside the part of your view, just have to go to your box where you see the okay. Now, I've explained this your head, this is your header, this is the header, and they're made up of your column and row. Now, your column starts from A, it goes up to value. I think it's about 200 and something. 200 and something column, if I'm not mistaken. You can check it out, you can ask ChatGPT how numbers of column later on. Then your row starts from 1 and goes up to 1,048,576. This is the last row you can have. Now this here lies with the limitation of Excel. So later when you ask me why we learn SQL, maybe SQL 3 one time, turn your eye. How would they learn SQL? This is the reason. You have limits. Excel can only do so much. This is the limit what Excel can do. This is numbers of rows. If you have things like 1 million rows or 60 million rows now, Excel work done, and you can use Excel for that thing. You have to move into SQL to do your analysis, and maybe reduce it, find a way to analyze it, then maybe bring it back to Excel to do maybe visualization or one or two things. So with that, we now the last place, actually the last place. Now I told you that Excel that's not the work that been made up of sheets. Now this is one page. One page. Excel is called sheets. Okay? And you can add as many sheets as you want. I think it's up to I can't remember sure. Just check it later. I'll ask you Wednesday. How many sheets? What's the maximum amount of sheets? Once you can outside to start for like everybody should be able to answer that by. So create a niche that you need to put plus and click on it as many times as you want. Keep creating new and new. Another thing, although Excel give you the ability to have this part of row, an issue comes up when you are trying to analyze all of this at the same time. Excel is normally very even with this number that you put, it give you the ability to put amount of information. Let's say you want to sum everything and you want to create a chart, for example. Excel will become so slow when it's trying to process that information. So another Excel can only do so much. Now the last thing we need to know about is the status bar. This bottom part. This bottom part is called your status. This is called your status bar is when you are doing anything on Excel. Just to show you here. If I'm entering a formula, you see enter here. Was to showing enter, trying to write something. If it is loading, it will tell you that it's loading. Okay, any action you're carrying out is shown here. Okay. Sometimes if your this is loading, means something has happened, so you have to wait. Another thing you have here is your accessibility portrait. What accessibility means? It means the way you arrange your table. Something that maybe a blind person can. Every software, most well-built software, have the ability for blind people to way that can turn on accessibility mode, start reading up what is that page. Most apps have it. Most software have it. So if you build your when you build your you fill in your data, it's easy to read using accessibility mode. So you have to click on this, test how accessible information is. Most of the time you won't tell you this. Then then apart from this, you have your shortcut for layout. And shortcut for your page layout. This is shortcut for. So let me just click on some of them so you see them. So this is the general page layout. You have your custom view, you have your print view. Print view, they have your custom view here, back to normal view. Then you have your zoom in and zoom out and so on and so forth. So this is the general Excel environment. Okay. So everything we'll be working on for the next 1 year. So when you get home, just open it up again. Everything will be just practice it. Now back to the notes. Any question before I go back to you? To ask my own question. No question. Let me ask now. Where is the quick action? The paper, this one. But where's quick action? What's it? What is it? It went. Went away. Like, what did you don't have away? Wait some. Wait. That's just for. I think that's that, but they're not the main. Michael. Where's the quick action? Right? How many? Let me ask you this way. What is the last column? The name of the last column in the when the none of you paid attention. A bit exiting is many a bit still a maxi. But yeah, no. Hmm. So you see, but you're accurate. Right, you're accurate. Wow, now. Sometimes that's going to happen. Sometimes it's going okay, let's move on to the next thing. So everybody should pretty much have their Excel open by you have your laptop. So by please meet what's the name again? Joshua. What is the name? John. Joshua, please get how was the weekend? And the weekend was very nice. Anyway, why you have to enjoy the weekend? Very important. Working at home, work at that. Great. Pushing from that. Okay. Are you not part of the meet? To go there and understand what's going on. Your LinkedIn is set up. Everybody's LinkedIn is set up. Just a second. You have that issue now. So you try to approach. So LinkedIn is set up. Maybe on Now, when you need assignment like that, then you show that you show this post you are okay. Very important thing. The only thing I will see that you've done your assignment, I will not check. Uh, okay, while we are waiting for that, let's continue. Okay, let's talk about some of the common shortcuts, essential shortcuts that you use. So, the first shortcut is Control C and Control V. Who doesn't know what that is? Everybody knows what that is, right? Copy and paste. So let's just quickly do something on that. So we are going to enter any random data, say name on the first column. Then now all you need to do is copy this and then paste it somewhere like here. Yeah. So do that quickly using copy and paste. Most of this shortcut, all of us. Yes, it doesn't have to be there. Just put anything there. Copy it and paste it. So great. Did you use ChatGPT? That's around ChatGPT. Okay. So, for your own good, yeah, I understand it. No, are you Billy? Alan, Alan. Your name is Sandra. What's your other? Okay, I think all of us would have been done with that by now, right? No problem from there. Now the next shortcut is undo and redo. And the first shortcut for that is control. The way you control that you X, sorry, Z to undo. And you want to redo something. The control and Y. Now let's undo what we just did. This copy and paste we did. Let's undo it. Control and C, right? Then let's redo it back. Control and Y. Okay. Done it a bit. Shortcuts are very important. It's going to save you a lot of time. If you calculate the seconds that Control C will save you, at the end of the day, you see it saved up to like 30 minutes or even 1 hour. And the next is Control S and Control A. Control S is to do what? Save. Control A is to highlight everything, right? So we are going to do Control A first, or do Control S. So Click on anywhere and click Control and A. Just click a random spot and Control and A. Press S, A to select everything. Now, mind you, if you are inside of a range of data, what is a range of data? Range of data, just kind of group together. Let's see. Range. I just group together. This is information. You can put that. Together. Okay. That was. I think I did not better. Now, can select the selection you just did, press Ctrl S. And you save this file as save the file as let's call it class one or something. Just give it a memorable name that you file. And for those of you guys that don't have laptop, get a hard drive. Reason being, might come tomorrow. This out of one, I give you another laptop. Okay, want your file to always move it anywhere you want. Or maybe they might even format the laptop, delete on your not be complaining that you don't have your file. Get a flash drive as soon as you can. And even get to the cell. I think the cell is you can get today, just get the flash drive as soon as you can. So don't end up losing any of the work. So I'm just going to save this randomly for now. Don't save it anywhere yet. I'm not actually using this for everything. Just to explain this concept. Now, we have a shortcut for formatting our text. We have Control B for making your text bold, Control I for making your text italic, and Control U for adding an underline to your text. And most of you must have used this in Word. Most of us have used Word. Have used this in Word. Most of these functions are cuts across almost every Microsoft software, even almost every Windows software. If you use Windows before, most of the shortcuts you see them, they are repeating themselves. So let's quickly do some of those. Control B to make it bold, Control I to make it italics, and Control U to quickly do that, and let's move on. Edit. Now, those are for text formatting. There are some other ones, but they are not very essential now. Now, the next shortcut is find and replace. Very important. Very important. But if find and replace is how to even look for that function inside of Excel. Find and replace. What find and replace means? Find something. This that thing. Maybe I have the name. Let's just do something so that you see it in practice. Hey, let's say for names, I'm going to fill in some names here. This is my name, famous name. Okay. Miriam. Your men is it like this? Or Miriam of it? son. Jimenez your son. Jimenez are this. Yeah. What's your okay? Say your native. You told me your native. Just how to. Then Francis. Good. So I have three names, right? Let's say I spelled Francis incorrectly like this. This is how you spell your name, Abi. And for some reason, these names repeated themselves. And I have like, let me just get this. I have like 10 of this Francis mistake. 10 is a bit more. Let me just do it. I have Francis spelled incorrectly 3 times. Will I go one by one and start changing Francis? How to do that? All we use is find and replace. Okay. Now, the first thing you do when you want to use find and replace, you highlight where you are finding, where you're going to replace. Like you want to go and find, okay, let's say you apply your 2K loss, right? Where you're coming here, 2K loss, what your pocket. What find out why you go? What are the road where you pass? Don't go and pass. Let's say your house is in South Road. Don't go and start looking at Road to find out your 2K. So you have to specify where you are searching. Just highlight first. Now to highlight, what you do is this. Now assuming you guys for you guys, what you do is this. The easiest way to highlight is to click the first one where you want to start. Hold control, hold shift, and your second hand, if you're highlighting from top to bottom, you see down arrow key. Okay? Down arrow key. You know where the down arrow key is, okay? So hold your shift then down arrow key. If you are going from top to bottom, then if you are going from bottom to top, hold shift and hold shift. Not say click, hold it. That's press it and hold it. Start pressing your down or your up arrow key. Like this to highlight everything. I'll show you a faster way to highlight later. Or alternatively, if this is a bit slow for you, you can just click, okay, left click, hold, then use your other finger to move your trackpad so that you highlight it. That if you're using a mouse, click and left click, hold, then move into the desired location. You highlighted it. Now the other shortcut I said I will go to them. I'm just pressing direction you want to direction. And you have to practice. Make it faster. So this one now is when you have things like 1 million row. I want to select everything. You can't be dragging or be doing shift and press 1 million times. What you do in that situation is this. As long as they are close together, they just finish it. Now complete sequence. And then you this. That's it. Hope you use it very well. Yeah. Let's walk back. Let's go back. Head back. Or pockets. So we can focus. Okay, so I was talking about find and right? So how do we use find and replace? Now, in this situation, we have a problem. The name, Frankie's name was not correct on three separate occasions. So changing one at a time would be very stressful. So what do? We will have to find a way to do it all at once, right? Now, to do that, we have to select where the issue is, where the issue was generally located, right? Then we use Control F to find that issue location. So I press Control and F to bring up this for me. Now, what am I looking for? The name that had the problem, right? The name is Francis. I'm sure this guy is case sensitive. I'm not 100% sure. Sure. The Excel is not by default case sensitive. But when I say something is case sensitive, not the results. Don't know. So if I say something is case sensitive, it simply means that if I pair G and this doesn't mean that why? And what it is, let's say you are back to set. So you can't take it. You're very specific about the kind of you should take, right? So I am not sure this is case sensitive. Those are very sensitive. By default, Excel is not case sensitive. But Excel and SQL are not case sensitive. And this spelling and the one with smaller letter are normally going to be seen as the same value. So I'm just for the sake of safety, I'm using the actual case. So click on find all and to spot all the issues for us. Now the next thing we want to do, we want to replace it. Abi? Then you press Control arrow, or you can just click on this straight up. And you can just highlight it again and press Control R. Sorry, Control H. Sorry, not Control R. Control H. Now it will bring up, take us from here, take us to this. Okay. Now with this guy, I can now change every single occurrence of this Francis. So the correct spelling should be this, right? This is the correct spelling for the name, maybe. So press place all and done. So this makes it easy to work with large amounts of data when there's an issue such as this. You can just fix everything at once, using find and place. So just do that for yours and let's move on. Okay? So up next, you guys are done with that, Abby? Not yet. Okay. When you're done, just let me know. Are we done? Good. So up next, we'll talk about a couple more shortcuts that you will most likely be using. Okay. Now, the first short, I think we've done this already. If you want to select columns or you want to select values in Excel, you use the shift, then the arrow keys to either select a cell like row by row or by column. So shift and arrow key to select cells, which we did just now. I think we already did something like this. Hold shift, then let's say you want to select these two columns, column A and column B. Go to the first one, hold shift, then go from A, press your left to select A. Now you want to select from the top to that Francis at the bottom. Hold shift, then down arrow key, and you are done. I mean, we've already done this, so I'm not going to waste time on this. Now the next is, how do I go to the next tab? You know when you're entering data, I can type in, let me add some more columns. So this is name, let's call this age, right? So let's say I want to enter like two more columns to this. When you're typing, it doesn't make sense to, every time you're done with a column, you use your mouse to navigate next. That extra 2 seconds, they waste. So the easiest way to do that is press your tab. Once you are done, you press tab, it takes you to the next column. You type, let's call this gender. Once I'm done, I press tab again. You know the tab key, right? Click on the tab key, then I put, what am I going to put yourself? Let's say education. So this is how you normally navigate when you are entering data. Use the tab key to move from column to column. Now, let's say you made a mistake at the previous column. You need to use your mouse. So mouse close you. Mouse is for novice. If you can use keyboard is always be faster than using mouse. I see some programmers, they use what we call theme. They don't use mouse at all in their coding. So mouse slows you down for beginners. Fast, the more you get advanced, less you need to use your mouse. So you want to go back. Now press shift, right, and tab, take you back. Previous column, like that, shift and tab. Now you want to go back to the right, tab, 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 tab. Okay, yes. Okay, the noise. So to navigate staff, navigate from one column to another. Now, I can sheet So, up next, I'm not going to look at this because I know what it's supposed to be. Now, if you want to go to the next row, navigate by the row. Once you're done with this row now, start filling the next row. Press enter. Enter. Next row. Just keep pressing enter. Now, if you want to go opposite direction, press shift. Yeah, in the opposite direction. Okay? That's how you navigate. Data. You don't want to use mouse. Just use your shortcuts. You're supposed to be enter. You can correct this when you get. Okay, one more thing. Now, what if you want to navigate your data very, very fast? You want to go through your data. You are not entering anything. You just move through, going from the top to the bottom to the end. Very, very fast. What do you use? Use your control. Say I want to come from here. I want to go to the bottom of this sheet. Last cell in this sheet. I'll press control. Then I'll press direction. I'm going down a bit. I'll press down. So now I take me to the last data. Then I press down again to the very, very last cell, last row in this sheet. If I want to go to the last column, right? I'll hold shift again and press left, take me to the last column. Now this is how you quickly navigate through your data. Tell you when your data is very wide, you want to move through. That's what you use. Just be moving as fast as you want to. Want to move slow, just press your arrow. Okay. So that's understood. The last one here, I will not talk about it now because if I talk about that, you will not get it. When we talk about cell reference. I'll bring you back here. So just note this down. F4 to toggle between different type of cell reference. Now you don't know what cell reference is. Just find it somewhere in the back of your head. There's something called cell reference. And F5 is to toggle. What toggle means something? Alternate between the different types of it. Okay, now that we've done with some of the shortcuts, there are more shortcuts. My advice to you as you are doing this, right? Look for ways to make your work fast. Yeah. So everything I do is think. Always be thinking how to make it. Yeah. You used to say this, is it Steve Jobs? Say you would rather hire a lazy man that wants to work very hard. Because the lazy man will find it faster and more efficient way to get the job done. So you don't have to be lazy, but you have to find it faster and more efficient way to do whatever you're doing, get it done. You don't reward, nobody will reward you for working hard. That's not come to understand about it. Nobody will reward you for results. If person A spend hours and deliver and you spend 2 hours and deliver 90%, who will they reward? Person A and B. So they don't reward output, they reward results. Just put that in the back of your mind, look for faster way to get your job done. So I say you should go and learn ChatGPT. All of us learn how to use it to make your work fast. Now, up next, we talk about data types and transformations. Whenever you're working with data comes in different types. Data comes in different types. When you're working with data, you need to know the type of data you're working with. That will give you, that will show you how you are going to handle that. And the different types of data have the different ways they are going to be formatted. And there's a way you can format text data. It's different from the way you can format date and time data. It's also different from the way you can format a Boolean data. Now we have three main types of data, but recently they added a new one. I'm just going to categorize that for that text data. We have number data, numerical data. We have text data. We have date and time data. Last one, we have Boolean. What Boolean is? You have heard that one. Someone of us was studying computer. What was the question? Who's in computer science? Heard of Boolean? Heard of it, but you don't. I'm interested by serious. So you need to learn extra. That's crazy. So anyway, Boolean this represent values that are true or false. True or false. That's what Boolean is. So Boolean values are only going to be true. So data that are true or false, 1 or 0, are categorized under Boolean. Okay. So the reason I said it's new, but before now, either you use that true or false, you put that way, you put that number. It's going to be the same thing. But now they added a category for it. But I'll still focus on the three main ones because these are the main ones. So the first is numerical. When I mean numerical, I'm talking about whole numbers, decimal numbers, negative numbers, currencies. That appears under numerical data. Let me ask you this numerical data type, right? Which what we learned was it on one last week, right? Talk about the different types of data, quantitative and quantitative. Which category will you put this number under? Yeah? You think quantitative or qualitative? So we have the numerical, then we have the text or string data. This is why they call it string. Yeah? You don't explain. So this is a qualitative, right? And this is the collection of characters. And if you all these characters together, if you are able to draw around it, what's like the string that connects each of these characters? That's like the call this string characters sequentially. You can call this a text or a string. Python, I won't call this a string, I won't call it text anymore. Now we are in programming. Just know it from now that text are also called strings. So this we have text, collection of letters, numbers, alphabet, things that are not numerical in nature are categorized under text. Okay. Then the last is called date time. These are special numerical values that use to represent time. So we have months, year. You know what the date should look like now? So whenever you have this kind of data, they are actually numbers. The back end dates are numbers, but they are specially used to they are used to represent time. Okay. So before this, we are going to create this individual data type ourselves, see the difference between each of them. To go create a new sheet. On a new sheet, you are going to create 3 columns. One that will hold the text-based data, one that will hold the number-based data, one that will hold the data. So your text-based data will be name. Your number-based data will be salary. And your date-based data will be start date. Right? Now we are going to fill in this data. You see some slight visual difference between both them. Or it's not a big deal, but you see it. Just so you know. Now for the name, put your name. I'm going to put my name. I'm going to put the salary figure. Let's put 1 million there. Let bigger. Let me make it sense. Then the join date, I'm going to put let's say, let me just put today's date as our join date. Now there's something you will notice when I'm putting this join. See, I'll start with the month, then I'll do with the year, sorry, the day, I'll go with the year. You want to know what I'm doing this with? You know what, not want to start with the year first, the month first, then the day, then the. But normally you start with day first. I mean, the reason I'm going this way is because that's the way my laptop is formatted. I'm using standard. I did on my laptop month, day, and year, right? And Excel adopts this exact standard. Okay? Excel adopts this exact standard. That's why I have to use month, day, and year. Now, for your own case, check your laptop where your date is formatted and use that exact type of formatting here. Very important. Look at it. So you are going to notice something really quick is that text is aligned to the left. Numbers are aligned to the right. Real quick, you notice that. And you notice also dates is aligned to the right. So I told you that dates in actuality, right, they are numbers, are just special numbers. So we'll see more on that later on to go to formatting. So now that we've learned the various data types, we are going to learn how to format our data with Excel. So Excel formatting allows options. They allow you to control how your data appears without changing the underlying data, the underlying value itself. It just changes how it looks without changing the main value or the calculation. So let's talk about the different types of formatting. We're going to start with number formatting. Different options that you can have. Each data have the way you format them. And you will notice here that I am formatting my dates as a number because in actuality data are numbers. Let's go over that and let's work on number formatting. Okay, so I told you anything that has to do with formatting. Which tab do we go to? Insert. Where? Insert, you sure? Data, you sure? If you want to format your data in Excel, right? Out of all these tabs that we have here, which one would you see? Home, is it insert, is it draw, is it page layout, is it formula, data, formula? Sure. Reason I will. Yeah? Start. So, It's not insert, so your that one don't come out. Guess another one. Yeah? Page layout, not be page layout. Guess another one. You watched the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Maybe you have lost $1 million. Next person. Guess another one. Ben, which one? Which tab are we going to? No, tell them. Clap for that person. Clap for that person. Clap for the person. Clap for the person. You guys are not going to clap. We will stop clapping. It's right in front of us. It's home. Anything formatting, it's home. Okay? Just put that at the back of your head. Anything formatting your data, it's going to be on home. Nothing concerned the other ones formatting. So we'll start with number formatting. Now, to format your numbers, in home, you will see something called numbers, right? That's everything that you want to do with number formatting, you are going to do here. Okay? Now, at the top, you see a drop down. Now, let's go over the drop down. The first, you get what? General formatting. General formatting simply means use the default. Whatever the person typed there, just stick to that person's, what the person is typing there. Okay? The next, you have numbers. Now, what number does, it changes the number to a decimal number. So let me click on number. We are going to do each of them and see how each of them work. So click on number. You see your number has changed to a decimal point. So I'm basically changing the way it looks without changing the actual value. Then go to the next. You have currency. What will currency do? Add the currency symbol to this. Next we have is accounting. What will accounting do? It's the same thing currency does, but it separates the symbol from the actual value. Yeah? Your currency they show hash. Now pound they use now. I'll show you how to change it later. Using pound. Using dollar, using pound. Why you using pound? Well, I'll show you how to change later. Now, the point I'm trying to make, right? Note this down somewhere. If you are working with data, and you are working with currency, and you want to display your value as a currency, don't use currency. Okay? Use accounting. The reason because it is easier to spot, it's visually more appealing, and it's easier to spot issues. So, for example, let me do something real quick. Let me give this. Let's see. Okay. Let me give this a different currency symbol, like euro. It's another one, like yen or something. Take this back to currency. I think I have to go over to. Just hold on. Don't do this pattern thing. Just hold on. I'm trying to do something. So if I have a situation such as this, and I have dollar, but there's a euro here, and it's actually euro value, it's so much difficult for me to spot this euro. Right? I'll just assume everything is dollar. But if I made this to accounting, and I switched that. I switch this to euro. Let me use any random currency for this. You can see that this is more easy to spot any currency difference between each of them. Are you getting my point? So what I'm trying to tell you is that when you are representing your values in currency, use accounting, not currency. Easy for you to work with, and it's also final. is finer than that one, Abi. So that's the point I'm trying to make. So this is accounting. It displays your number as a currency, but the currency, the symbol and the value are now separated. Okay, so this is it. I'll talk about this now. Have you done this once I talked about just now? Now I told you that numbers and dates, they are the same thing. It's just that the actual real dates are the way they formatted them, the way they are written, so they are special. Now you see, if I convert this to a date, it actually converts. See, it's actually converting to a date. It's actually going to convert to a date because numbers are also in the back end. Every date is a number. Same concept here. You see, it's actually converting to a date, except for values that are too big to be converted. We should get this dollar hash 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 symbol. Same with time, right? You see the actual time value. Same with percentage. So what percentage does is to multiply whatever value there with 100 to give you the value as a percentage. You can see now this has been multiplied by 100. I'm getting this value as percentage. Then the last is fraction. So if this were to be a point, a decimal number, maybe 2.5, convert this to the fraction of 2.5, which should be is 2.2 divided by 5 or 10, something like that. So anyway, let's change this to naira. Let's change this symbol to naira. That's what we want the salary to be. Now, you cannot see naira here, Abi. So how do you go about doing that? Now, this is just a limited version of this. Just like the preview before you go to the main number format. Now, under the preview, we still have some things I've not talked about. You have your shortcut for accounting. You have your shortcut for currency. You have, percentage. This. You have your shortcut for adding commas to your numbers, which is this. Then you have your shortcut for increasing the decimal point and reducing this decimal point. So if you click on this, it will increase your decimal point. You click on this, it's going to reduce your decimal point, right? Now the main number formatting, to get to that, you click on this window, like a window that they are opening. Click on this, take you to the main. This is your main number formatting. So this gives you more control over the way your number is going to be formatted. Now with this, we are going to change our currency to naira. Okay, are we here? Before I start changing the currency to naira, everybody's here, right? That's for password. Is there no Joshua? Is there no account for this password? For password? Or is there any file that important file that yes, password? I know it. So just go to accounting, right? Then we are going to look for the symbol we want. And so what we are looking for is Naira. So just scroll and look for Naira. Carefully scroll, then you will see Naira. By the end of this module, you guys will edit your CV, start applying for data entry roles. Once you are done with Excel, start applying, optimizing your data entry. By the grace of God, before the end of the program, most of the time they pay about $100 to month. Naira, that should be something. Something. So this is Naira. Click on anyone you want, press OK, and you're good to go. So done with this, Abi. Now let's work on the dates. I told you dates are also numbers, so we are not going to go anywhere fancy to modify our dates. Just go back to the number format. I want to change my date to this format. My date will come like this. If the day is Friday, I'll get the Friday like this. The month will over the year will be. So I want okay. Now how do we do this? We'll use number format. Before we even do that number format, I want to show you something. I told you dates are actually numbers, Abi. So if I change this to number, see I'm getting a value there. 4595985.00. That's 00 part kind of it. So I think it ranges from 0 to go to I think 100. 100 is like 12 o'clock, 12 o'clock p.m. 00 is like 12 o'clock a.m. So it ranges from 0 to 1. This is the time part of it. And this is the actual date part of it. So your dates are actually number. Now back to what I was doing. Go to dates. Now let's look for this structure, this format of dates under this selection. Let's go. Let's scroll. I think it should be here, but if it's not here, we have to create it ourselves. It's not. It's not there. We are going to create it ourselves. So go to. Let me see if it can even be done. We have day, months. Okay. So go to custom. Custom allows us to modify the way our data is going to be presented. I think this should work for let's look at this one. This should work. Okay, it's giving me the November part, but it's not complete yet. So this is what we are going to do, right? We are going to modify this. We're going to modify this sample. So go over to this, click on this, give us ability to modify it. Now we are going to remove this. Now for the year, we want our year 2025, not just 25. To increase the Y, more Ys. Now, this is not part of what I'm supposed to do. Each of these day, month, and year can exist in 3 ways. Right? This is shortest form of this. That means if I have something like Friday, yes, over, it means this one, the shortest form. And for month, we have maybe the shortest form number like so we have M here. Have the short this. So we have M October. Understand? Now for here we have 5. That's your option 5 for here. I think it's that one is possible. You have Y, that's you have Y, Y. Actually, you should be able to have a long form text. And this should be what the long form that number to be number. Don't want to get right. This should be what this is the we structure this remove space y. Good. Then for your month, add an extra m to it. Good. Then for the day, add an extra d to it. That's what we want. I mean, what we're going for. So we are good. Just click on OK and you'll be good. Have you got the format? You know what? Like this. The reason I wrote, let me move this out of the reason I wrote my date like this, which is month, day, and year, it's because with my laptop, right? This is how my laptop recognizes it. And Excel adopted that pattern. Grace, you understand? Now, your laptop probably doesn't recognize this. I think you recognize it as normal day, month. So you change your date. Check, confirm it, and change your date. Get it right. Everybody got it a bit. And you press OK and you go. Now, if you get this, the that means there's no space for your text. This space is too small for your text. You just have to drag it and create more space. That's what I did there. So with this, we are done with the number formatting. So my advice to you when you get to just type some numbers around the other type of formatting for you to get used to you. So like most times, we'll be able to round up this part of it here before in like 5 minutes. Yeah. Or you know, uh, Okay, good. For the next part, I think we are going to want to quality. So assignment. Okay, assignment. Don't take a little what you learn from this. That's the assignment. Just like some points. Probably by next month, we need to pass. Then, not the assignment. Everybody knows the price of the cost. What are coming from? Each one will have a mark. Self-mark. Self-mark. Now, hence, that by bringing people to the time to have that information, sometimes right. If you don't do if you don't get it, you not graduate. Instead of no hard, you have to be very no hard. If you don't graduate, you have to come here. So take it seriously, so you get more. Okay, so let's quickly do the rest. The next type of formatting is font formatting. Okay, think we did some part of it. So just quickly do this one so that you can go 12. So font formatting has to do with changing the text size, text color, just think about the text. Right? So click on your name. Now for the font formatting, all you focus on this section. Now this is your preview, what you can easily change. Now the first one is the font. My advice to you is just leave your font where it is. But 90% of the time you're not printing Excel. Just leave it as if it's area, leave it. The goal for Excel data should be visible, not doesn't have to be so fine, just be legible and see. So area, poppies, those kind of sans serif fonts are okay. Don't change whatever you have here. Don't change it. Okay? Now the next is font size. Change the size of my font. Make it big, make it small. Okay. Then this is a toggle. Increase, decrease. It reminds me of that meme. Don't meme. Come and say. So the value increases or decreases. That thing. Get me word. No watch it. Just it was popular also. Does the value increases or decreases? So we're now more we're trying to just more fully so I don't know if it's increasing or anyway. Now to make it bold, you have the shortcut where you can make your text bold here. Italics, yeah, the line, yeah. Now to change the color, right? You have the font color here. You see A underscore, there's the color under it. Just click on that and select any color you like. I'm going to pick on, let me use a bold color, let's use the red, visible. Now, one more thing you need to know about this is the cell itself. You can colorize it. This is the text. The cell itself can give it a new color. That's called fill color. So to do that, you see this bucket here. Take it and select the color you want. So I'm going to use the green. So let's do this. Let me just look for a color that this color is good. This text filling. So this is how you normally manipulate your text and fonts. There's one more I will show you, but I'm not showing now. It's under font and it's under the advanced version of this formatting, right? So we'll leave that for now. Now the next is, let's just put this column round up for it. The alignment. Alignment is simply how the text on the cell is aligned. Is it aligned to the left, to the right, to the top, the bottom, or the center? So to work on alignments, go back to your Excel, select a cell. Now I'm going to make this guy column a bit bigger and the row a bit bigger, so you'll be able to see it very well. This is my cell, right? Now to work on alignment, there's an option called alignment. Now you have different options. You have vertical alignment and horizontal alignment. Now vertical, can put it at the top, the middle, or the bottom. Right? Then for horizontal alignment, you can keep it at the left, the middle, or the right. Okay? And that's why I told you at the beginning that this alignment that number has and text does not have, it doesn't really matter because you can actually change it later on. So just by default, text are left aligned and numbers are right aligned. But no, you can actually change it. So to a certain degree, it doesn't really matter that much. So this is for alignment. You have rotation. I don't see any word where you need this, but let's learn it. You can rotate the way your text is going. Vertical, rotate the other way. Just basically narrate it any way you like. Bring it back to normal. Okay, these are the order rotation. Then the last thing there was text wrapping. What text wrapping is? Text wrapping means that what happens when a text or for the road is supposed to be, what happens then? Does it close to the next line or does it hide itself? So by default, when a text is too small, let me increase this. Let me type. When a text is too small, I think I'm ready to test text wrapping. This is what happens. It just talks to itself. Now, text wrapping allows us to let the text flow. So every detail will be shown. So when I select this, you see this button here. Click on that. Make your text wrap. If the text is very long, everything is going to show. I don't recommend this one most of the time because especially if you are working with data that has very long text. If you see like only one row, you like take like half of this page. Not recommended when your data is, let's say you are pulling you are scraping a website. Yeah, each post, a blog post is very, very long. It's not recommended to do that kind of thing. That especially when you are not working directly with that information, it doesn't your data too hard to move around. So that's it. And the last one is let me see part of today's work. Okay, we'll do that one later. Now so do that later. So your assignment, just create a LinkedIn post. Hopefully use AI to very fast. Create a post of what you did and post it and tag me. I have my account. Just now my name. Yes. Tag the academy. Any question for quality? Questions. Last question. Last. That's it. So we are done. Yes. That's anything you want to I just original thing. But I'll show you a way to actually, let's say you formatted everything. I want to return everything back to the original state. Short cut for that. Straight down. On Wednesday when we come. I'll send you guys the free course on after I go. I'm not going to affect you much of this course, but going forward as a data analyst, you should not start setting. I'll tell you because on that. If I don't send it by tomorrow morning, someone should just text me. I'll send it.